If we look past the surface of simple romantic fantasy and truly examine Gabriel García Márquez's masterpiece with a mature heart, we find something profound. Love in the Time of Cholera is not a cheap, sugar-coated fairy tale about a devoted man waiting for his first love. Instead, it is a magnificent epic of emotional rescue, written for anyone who has ever felt numb, lonely, or afraid of the passing of time and the shadow of death. Márquez is showing us how human. The story begins without any villains. It simply starts with two young, innocent hearts meeting and then missing each other in the beautiful dawn of youth. Young Florentino, a penniless, illegitimate telegraph operator, feels his entire world catch fire the moment he sees Fermina. He begins writing her letters that stretch for dozens of pages, filled with intense poetry and absolute devotion. To him, Fermina is a living goddess. Fermina, a sheltered young girl raised strictly by her wealthy father, loses herself in the intense warmth of his words. They make secret promises to spend their lives together, believing that the love they share on paper is the only thing that matters. But in a cold world where the future is measured by wealth and social status, their innocent dreams are quickly shattered by reality. After a long journey away, Fermina returns to the village. Turning around in a crowded market, she suddenly sees Florentino clearly. Pale, fragile, and looking somewhat desperate because of his intense devotion. In that single second, the romantic illusion completely vanishes. She looks at him coldly and says, "My God, it was all just a dream." She rejects his trembling hand. She walks away, crossing a line she can never return from, and marries Dr. Juvenal Urbino, a handsome young doctor back from studying in England, who can offer her high social standing, total security, and an unassailable lifestyle. Florentino is left behind in the ruins of his first love. He isolates himself in his grief. To cope with the overwhelming pain of losing his first love, Florentino and Fermina move forward on completely opposite paths. Let's look with genuine empathy at Florentino's chaotic years. He throws himself into a wild lifestyle, sleeping with over 600 women, and moving from one bedroom to another for 50 years. We shouldn't judge him with a harsh moral stick. As a man whose soul essentially died when he was 20, Florentino uses physical distractions to numb the massive emotional void inside him. Every time he holds a stranger. On the other side of the town, Fermina lives in a golden cage, experiencing a slow, silent, emotional suffocation despite her luxurious lifestyle. Dr. Urbino is a perfect husband, highly educated, respected, and deeply responsible. But he represents a rigid world built entirely on logic, social rules, and high society appearances. For 50 years, they live in a marriage where they have intense arguments over small things, like whether there were mangoes on the dining table, and exhaust themselves trying to maintain the illusion of a perfect couple. Her husband is an honorable partner, but he is not someone who connects with her soul. Fermina's inner warmth is slowly fading, and her youth is being eaten away by the quiet loneliness of high society. Two hearts wither indifferent. Change arrives with a strange, sudden accident when they are both in the twilight of their lives. Dr. Urbino's sudden death shatters the orderly, comfortable world Fermina had lived in for 50 years. In that quiet house, while everyone else sighs over the fragility of life, Florentino steps forward. He doesn't offer empty words of sympathy. Instead, he lays down the honest truth of his heart, a devotion he carried silently for 51 years. Standing before the memories of, this is the most unexpected and deeply human moment in the story. To the conventional world, this old man looks like a fool, a shameless intruder disrupting a widow's grief. Márquez uses a gentle, almost sacred language to show us the truth. This is not a crude disturbance. It is a moment of life-saving comfort for two elderly people, sitting in the ruins of their lives, holding each other close as the winter sets in. Fermina is 76 now. She spent her entire life living by other people's rules, being the perfect wife and mother. Now she is an old widow, her body is softening, and her skin is marked by age. The world expects her to grow old quietly and wait for death with dignity. No one looks at her as a woman who still has life inside her. But Florentino, an 81-year-old man, looks at her with the exact same intense devotion he had under the almond trees 50 years ago. To him, she is still the most beautiful woman in the world. In this moment, it is easy for a conventional, self-righteous world to judge this late love, viewing it as improper for people of their age. But Márquez uses the simplest, most honest truths to show us that this is not a sordid tryst. It is a genuine miracle of life that has completely defeated the gravity of time. Inside the narrow cabin of the ship, when they cast off the heavy clothes of their social titles, they stand completely open to one another, facing bodies that are fragile and marked by old age. In this space, he is not a poor, illegitimate clerk, and she is not a wealthy widow. They are just two ordinary human beings who have traveled through a long life and are nearing the end of their journey. When Florentino holds Fermina close with his trembling, rough yet warm hands, he gives her something far deeper than physical excitement. He gives her a sense of safety, the feeling of being truly alive, wanted, and cherished, wrapped in his embrace. Fermina. In the end, the yellow flag of cholera is raised. This long journey of 50 years finally finds its perfect home on the open river. To escape the harsh gossip of society and to protect the small touch of warmth they found from the rules of their children and the world, Florentino makes the most defiant and liberating choice. He orders the captain to hoist the yellow flag. To the outside world, that flag means sickness, isolation, and danger. But in Marquez's beautiful story, that yellow flag becomes a sacred declaration of independence, a total withdrawal from a cold world. It means the ship never has to dock again. It means they never have to care. Ordinary romance stories usually close the book the moment the characters find safety. But Love in the Time of Cholera remains an absolute masterpiece of literature because it proves a deeper truth. True freedom and love are not about fighting an outside enemy. It is about reaching the end of your life, when your body is old and tired, and still having the strength to pull back the veil of aging and death to claim your own warmth. You do not need to chase the illusions of youth that society sells, and you do not need to spend your final days waiting for death in a respectable cage. Take the clarity you won through a long life and make it your greatest treasure. Be like Fermina and find the courage to hold a wrinkled hand in the thick mist. Be like Florentino and raise your own yellow flag against the horizon in the twilight of your days. The shores are drifting away, th.